So, I have stayed in hostels as well. Like, I'm a cheap and thrifty traveler. And my only good hostel story, I'm just killing time until, like, Max can do the drawing for our giveaway and stuff. But this is my best and only hostel story, because I've stayed in lots of hostels, but they've all been normal because I've done things like look up Yelp reviews and, like, Google them before I go there. But the first time I went to Japan, I decided I wanted to save money, so we stayed in, and this is legitimately my method for choosing a lot of things, the second cheapest hostel in Tokyo.
Not the cheapest, you have standards.
No, I have standards. I'm a fancy lady with needs. So we stayed in the second cheapest hostel in Tokyo. And it was totally fine. It was in the middle of Ueno. There was lots of, like, cigarette butts around, but it was fine. It was kind of some of the alleys around there smelled like pee. It was not a nice part of Ueno. But you know what it was? We got in there, and instead of, like, rooms and beds.
Why are those quotations?
Those strange concepts.
Those are both pretty key components of the...
What it was one large room that had been subdivided into some sort of, like, fire hazard death trap. Where, like, the walls didn't go to the ceiling, and, like, we technically got, like, a room that would sleep. We got a bed. We paid extra for the bed that would sleep two people, me and my boyfriend at the time, but my husband now. And what it was like the size of a single twin bed, and there was a bunk bed for somebody else who thankfully had not taken that room with us. That was like 6 inches above our bed, like, sleeping in a coffin, the walls didn't go all the way to the ceiling, so every fart and cough from other occupants we heard. We were only there for one night. Whatever, it was like $40. It was the second cheapest hostel, but the guy who ran the hostel was really nice, and he explained his whole philosophy about why he wanted to give tourists a cheap place to stay in Tokyo, because it's a very expensive city. And then in Japan, you have to give your passports over when you check in. Like, they want to make sure that, you know, that you have, this is new to us, and so we're handing our passports over, and he looks at us, and he's like, "Oh, Canadian!" And his demeanor instantly gets sort of conspiratorial. He's like, "I thought you were American." He had very good English. He's like, "I thought you were American, and I've been to America many times. They do have all the guns." I'm like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
I've cornered the market.
yeah. I don't know what he expected us to say that, but we politely agreed and went to go sleep in our tiny coffin. And all of the subdividing, aside from, like, plywood, there was also some, like very, 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 I would say, delightful Doraemon sheets, like children's Doraemon sheets, dividing this little tiny fiery death trap. I hope that hostel is still there, but it might not be.
That sounded like one of the worst ways of, like, trying to, like, catch somebody to see if they're smuggling guns, kind of a thing, where they just like, "Oh, you're from Canada. I hear they've got all the guns," and then you like just see if they'll go, "No, I've got some too." I gotcha.
Got you, smuggler.
You fell for the oldest trick.
With you.
Never thought that Canada had gun envy.
Yeah. Graham, of course, immediately had a picture ready of that was our bed. As you can see, it's slightly wider than a single-person bed. I guess the bunk above us wasn't 6 inches, but it certainly felt like it. I'm trying to creatively embellish my story, Graham, and you're ruining it with facts.
At least Photoshop the photo. Come on.
No,
Did the sky get more pink, or am I just starting to go crazy because I've been sitting here?
it's dusk now.
But does dusk gradually change, or is this the same dusk it's been for 2 hours?
Oh no, it just shifts. Yeah.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, so
Look, it's my first time driving the bus.
No, I'm the same way.
You're now in the forever twilight hours of this game, from what I've...
But when I was told forever twilight, I assumed it didn't change. I didn't know they had the budget for multiple sky backgrounds.
I'm just hypnotized by the air freshener.
Yeah.
It's
That's what it's there for.
It's the focal point of the whole bus.
I'm glad you took the controller from me, though, because, like, the antihistamines that Alex gave me have started kicking in. I can, like, see through time right now. It's great. Yeah. He's like, "Here's one," and I'm like, "Oh, this allergy feels pretty bad.
Give me 4.
Can I do 2?" And he's just like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
So
I get it."
I can feel my hair growing.
I'm hearing this is perfect improv time for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I do want to do Graham briefly on the screen flashed up a sign that was from that hostel that Graham just sent through with a sort of like the caveat of yeah, it sucks here, but there was a sign. We are, and then I can't read all of this, but it's like now we're in the most busy tourist season, so there are so many guests. You may feel uncomfortabilities. Yes, but the room rates are very, very cheap, which is the category for just Tokyo. And it's like, correct. Oh, to be fair, Kathleen, that was also the width of the entire room. It's true.